A billion-dollar sponsorship battle was suddenly forming around Alex Eala, and nobody expected a young Filipino tennis star to become the center of a fight involving three of the biggest names in tennis gear. Just a few years earlier, Alex Eala was grinding through ITF events and trying to make a name for herself, but her rise accelerated fast. Her junior Grand Slam success, rapid climb through the rankings, fearless style of play, and massive Filipino following made her impossible for major brands to ignore. By early 2026, she was no longer just another promising prospect. She had become a rising star with an entire country behind her. The first major move reportedly came from Wilson, with an offer described in the transcript as $8 million over 4 years. The proposal wasn't simply about rackets. It included equipment sponsorship, image rights across Asia-Pacific campaigns, and an investment plan aimed at expanding tennis opportunities in the Philippines. But there was one major condition: exclusivity. If Alex Eala accepted, she would have to leave her existing racket relationship behind. That made the decision far more complicated than simply choosing the biggest paycheck. Her existing partner then reportedly responded with a counteroffer, trying to keep the player they had supported before she became a global name. And just when the situation already looked complicated, Nike entered the picture with an even bigger vision. According to the transcript, Nike's reported proposal focused on apparel, lifestyle branding, signature products, and turning Alex Eala into a global sports figure rather than simply another tennis athlete. Suddenly, she wasn't choosing between companies. She was choosing between completely different futures. But the real explosion came when details that were supposed to remain private allegedly started appearing online. An email containing the reported Wilson proposal circulated on social media, followed by details of other offers. Within hours, what had been a private business negotiation became public entertainment. Fans began debating the numbers, choosing sides, and demanding that Alex Eala make the right decision. And that was when the sponsorship battle stopped being just about money. It became a question of loyalty, opportunity, and who should control the future of one of the Philippines' biggest rising sports stars. But the leaks were only the beginning, because the pressure that followed would become even harder to escape. The private sponsorship battle didn't stay private for long. Once the reported offers began circulating online, the entire conversation shifted from business negotiations to a public loyalty test. Fans started choosing sides, with some supporting Wilson because of its reported plans to invest in tennis development in the Philippines, while others argued that Nike offered Alex Eala the biggest opportunity to become a global sports icon. Meanwhile, supporters of her existing equipment partner pointed back to the years when the company stood behind her before she became one of the most talked about young players in tennis. What made the situation even more intense was the way the brands themselves appeared to respond. The transcript describes Wilson posting a cryptic message about partnerships, while the existing racket brand highlighted Alex Eala's best moments using its equipment. Nike largely stayed quiet, allowing the attention around its global brand and athletes to speak for itself. Then another alleged leak changed the narrative again, with internal messages reportedly showing that the racket company was preparing for the possibility of Alex Eala leaving and considering other Filipino players as replacements. Fans who had once viewed the company as the loyal partner suddenly began questioning its motives. But social media made everything even more complicated. Hashtags supporting Wilson, Nike, and her existing partner began spreading. Fan accounts created polls, and arguments became increasingly personal. Some supporters argued that choosing Wilson could help young Filipino players because of the reported plans to build tennis facilities, while others insisted Alex Eala shouldn't be pressured into making a decision simply because fans wanted a particular outcome. Nike supporters focused on global exposure, while longtime supporters of her racket partner framed the decision as a question of loyalty. The bigger the debate became, the less anyone seemed to remember that Alex Eala was still only 20 years old and was supposed to be focused on improving her game and competing. Even tennis commentators reportedly began weighing in, with some describing the offers as a huge opportunity for Filipino tennis and others criticizing the entire situation for treating a young athlete like a prize in a corporate battle. And with the pressure continuing to build from every direction, Alex Eala could no longer stay silent forever. What she said next would completely change the tone of the entire controversy. When Alex Eala finally addressed the situation, the entire story took a different turn. Instead of giving fans the answer they wanted, she reportedly admitted how overwhelming the pressure had become and made it clear that the decision had to belong to her. She was trying to focus on her ranking, her next tournament, and her development as a player, yet suddenly she was dealing with offers, legal documents, public speculation, and people from every side telling her what she should do. She acknowledged that Wilson's reported offer was attractive because of its potential impact on tennis in the Philippines, while also recognizing the support she had received from her longtime equipment partner and the global platform Nike could provide. Her message was simple: whatever happened next would be her decision, not the decision of Nike, Wilson, another brand, or the internet. That statement immediately changed the conversation. The brands reportedly pulled back from the public back and forth, and fans began realizing just how much pressure had been placed on a young athlete. Then came the decision. According to the transcript, Alex Eala ultimately signed with Nike for apparel and Wilson for equipment, while her previous racket partner was no longer part of the arrangement. The reported structure gave Nike the global marketing side while Wilson handled equipment and the proposed tennis development commitment in the Philippines. Instead of choosing one company and completely shutting out the others, Alex Eala had found a way to build a partnership around different strengths. The reaction was immediate. Nike supporters celebrated the global opportunity. Wilson supporters focused on the potential impact in the Philippines, while some longtime supporters felt disappointed by the departure from her previous partner. But the most important part wasn't which brand supposedly won. It was what Alex Eala demonstrated by refusing to let public pressure make the decision for her. The entire episode showed how quickly a young athlete's career can become a battleground when money, loyalty, and in the end, Alex Eala walked away from the chaos with something more valuable than any sponsorship deal: control over her own story. What began as a battle between major brands had become a public test of loyalty, ambition, and pressure, but the final decision was still hers. The reported Nike apparel and Wilson equipment partnership allowed her to move forward while keeping control of her career and future. The bigger lesson was clear. Social media can turn private negotiations into public battles almost overnight, especially when a young athlete suddenly becomes one of the most valuable rising stars in her sport. Alex Eala refused to let the noise, the fans, or the brands decide her future. She made her choice, returned her focus to tennis, and left behind a controversy that could influence how future young stars handle the pressure of major sponsorship battles. And perhaps that is what made the entire situation so important. Alex Eala didn't simply become the center of a massive brand battle. She showed that even when powerful companies and millions of fans are watching, an athlete can still demand the freedom to choose her own path. In the end, the real victory wasn't about which brand won the bidding war. It was about Alex Eala proving that her career, her decisions, and her future ultimately belonged to her.